Alright everybody, welcome back. So it turns out the treasure that I was stupidly and mindlessly searching for was over here in this little bag, all the way on the other side of the room, and not, as I previously thought, in the, swamp goo. But yeah. Anyway, welcome back. So it's a short spear, whatever. Get this guy. And then, I think we're almost done with this dungeon. I looked up, I tried to find some more information on like stats in this game, because I actually couldn't remember how defense and resist play into it. And there's very little information. It really kind of goes to show how kind of underground of a game this is. Just adjust the mic here real quick. Turn it ever so slightly. Yeah, okay. What am I trying to say? Yeah, information on that is extremely lacking. I searched GameFAQs, I searched the Valkyrie profile wiki. There's plenty of information on the sequel to this game, Valkyrie Profile 2 Smelly, which I may or may not play. I don't remember if it was... I probably should go back and play it, because I only played through it once, and I didn't even get everything. I don't even think I beat the final boss. I think I did. But there was like post-game stuff that I didn't bother with. I can't remember why. I can't remember if it was just because it would have been right around the time, it would have been right around my like junior or senior year of high school at the earliest, freshman year of college at the latest. But that was kind of when I finally developed something resembling a social life, and also, around the time that I was, of course, in college, and thus, much more busy. I think while I was in college, that was like the all-time low as far as the amount of time I devoted to playing video games. While I was in college, I really just dove headlong into my music and stuff. I still played video games, but I didn't have nearly the kind of time to devote to them for that, and there wasn't much coming out around that time that I wanted to play. The only things that I distinctly remember wanting to play, enjoying and having to play at all in the first place were Final Fantasy XII came out around that time, and that was when I first finally dove into it and gave it a chance. Of course, it was an amazing game and I loved it. I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm missing something, but according to the map, I am not. So, onward we go. I feel like maybe there was an enemy somewhere I forgot to kill. Maybe it was just how brutally I, electrocuted every living thing in this fucking swamp that makes me feel like there's not really anything, it went by really fast. But yeah, Final Fantasy 12 and, what was it? It was Metroid Prime 2, I think. No, it wasn't Prime 2. No, it definitely wasn't that. It was Prime 3, I think, was what came out around that time. And again, it took me a while to get into kind of there were a lot of new games coming out around that time that had either new mechanics or new ways of playing them that I just didn't have the time to catch up with. And so I got really behind. The whole open world aspect of Final Fantasy 12 and the Gambit system, really, and also the fact that game kind of starts off pretty slow and all that, and the fact that it was so different from Final Fantasy 10 and Final Fantasy 9, really kind of deterred me from playing it for a while, because I just didn't have time to invest in getting good at that. And then, of course, you know, the Wii and Metroid Prime 3 and the whole Wiimote thing, like, I didn't feel like trying to get good with a first-person shooter POV game using a Wiimote. But once I did, it was awesome and it felt good. Like, the Wiimote controls on the Prime series are our choice. They are pretty good. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. Heal's good. We should. Every mage should have heal, because it's the single most. Well, no, I mean there's potions that are better. So I won't say that, but heal is fairly powerful. It's like 80% of your max HP it heals for. I feel like I already mentioned this, but I'll say it again. All healing items in this game are percentage based, which is really nice. It's just kind of like, you know, because it scales, and I like that. I like when I like good progression scaling in RPGs. You know, because at the end of the game, I'll still be using elixirs to heal. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I can get more shit here, but I really don't need to and probably shouldn't, because I'm not going to need it. So, you know, I'll just do a quick save here, and we'll go fight the boss. And by fight the boss, I mean slash him 3 times and watch him die. In order to make that a possibility, I'm going to go ahead and put on the Dragon Slayer just so I don't have to waste a turn doing it in battle. You can change your equipment mid-combat, but it takes up your turn. So that's obviously something to keep in mind. Anyway, here we are. Hold on, I'll get over there eventually. What is a dragon zombie doing here? This is one of the, like, handful of, like, we need to enjoy these non-sentient bosses while we can, because bosses get far more cheeky, talkative, smarter, sentient, and intelligent as the game goes on. Hard to believe that stuff in the world. I mean, okay. Why?
Come to me, Dark Warriors. Battle awaits us.
No matter who the opponent, I shall not yield.
Sorry. Alright, so here we go. Done deal. You see those damage numbers? Like, shit is no joke. And, yeah. We want to go ahead and unequip that, though, because we don't want to be caught using it in a fight where we don't actually need it and have it break. You'll get more. They're not limitless, and you never get the chance to buy them, but you do find more throughout the game, but I think not very many. Only, like, I want to say, like, 2 or 3, maybe half a dozen tops. No, I don't even think it's that much. It's less than that, but you will find replacements. And, you know, actually, I take that back. You can make more. You just have to find, I think you can farm the items to make them. Later, when you get the Creation Gem and the Creation Jewel, it will let you turn broken weapons into the Slayer weapons, I think. Figured I'd fast forward through the whole, you know, all that stuff. There's a way to zoom. Yes. Okay, I figured it out. you hold square and it anchors the current POV, and you can rotate like this, and then L1 and R1 zoom in and out. And there's other controls too. Yeah, like it'll. Oh, you can rotate up and down too. All right, let's get out of here. Okay, so now, first of all, I need to update my party. So, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and remove everybody's accessories and some of their updated equipment so that the other party members in the other party can get access to them. Don't need to remove these guys' weapons because nobody else uses a katana or a spear right now. Remove this and this and this and bring Jolanda back in and prioritize Jun here because honestly of the non-Valkyrie, non-Armgrim characters I have right now, I mean, any mage right now, no matter who it is going to be a badass with the Dragonbane. But Jun is a really good fight. He has a really good PWS, is what it is, and his normal attacks are okay. They're kind of hard to control, but they're not bad. And I mean, he's a cool character. He's not a fucking bougie motherfucker like Bellinus. Yeah, so this is what we have right now, and alright, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna give I'm not gonna bother giving the Admiral necklace to Valkyrie because, you know, she never leaves the party. She's always in your party. You can't ever not have her, so you don't even need to worry about it. I am, however, going to I am going to give it to Arngrim, and the Dragon's Bane to... wait, can she not wear it? Yeah, she can wear the Crown of Felmar. Crown of Felmar is an artifact, and it's not like necessarily a better piece of equipment than the Silver Tiara, but it has that sweet darkness damage minus 50%, which is a big deal. So she actually... There's some good resists that she has there. Did these stack? Can I? I'll have to test that. There's no point in giving fairy earrings to anybody else that are in a mage because nobody else's charge turn ever goes above 1. Only mages have that. And charge turn on non-mage characters will only prevent them from using their PWS. It won't prevent them from attacking altogether. So those fairy earrings are strictly for your mages. I mean, is what that means essentially. So next chapter I am going to get an updated bow because we will probably get the next archer in the next chapter. So I'm going to go ahead and start using that short bow, and if it breaks, it breaks. Don't need anything else here. Give him the well, no. Okay, yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll give him the leftover salad. Seems fitting that the other Yamato character should get the pressed flower from Asaka, and this is right. That's from Lowland. I'm trying to remember where all these items came from. So he's got poison check, emerald necklace. Kind of catch Arngrim up here. Arngrim should be Arngrim is a powerhouse. We just have to get him there, and he hasn't been used since, you know, for a while now. So, yeah, I mean, fuck it, I guess. Valkyrie doesn't actually have any. You can put on the Nibelungen ring, but I just choose to keep it off because I'm not going to remember to take it off before the sacred phase, and you want to, you know, when you're going for the good ending. Okay, that should be solid for now. I am, however, gonna go in here and give Jolanda Shadow Servant because she's gonna need a multi-hit, multi-target attack, which Shadow Servant is, but Firestorm is not. Just to ensure that she continues to one-shot everything up in this next dungeon. The enemies aren't harder in this next dungeon we're going into, but there is a puzzle, and it's like, it's a legit puzzle. Like, you know, it's the kind of puzzle that you wouldn't encounter until like Chapter 5, Chapter 6 if you were playing normal mode. It's that level of puzzle. Neither of those really give much MP. Do they transmute to anything good? Trap search? Let me see if... Sorry, I'm just scrolling down. I got game facts pulled up, not because I don't know what I'm doing, but because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. You know, because my memory is fallible. Alright, items list. Items list, items list, items list. Here we go. Inscribed fragments. Trap search, trap search, trap search. Yeah. Alright. So that's getting transmuted. There's nothing else it's good for. This gets... Some things don't transmute at all until you get the creation gem or creation jewel. And some things only transmute normally and actually don't transmute if you're wearing the jewel or the gem. That is... That's just about everything. I'll go ahead and give Valkyrie the trap search. What this lets us do is basically... blue mark will appear... So yeah, if it's red, it's a trap, and if it flashes yellow, it's easily breakable. Most things that are traps also have things that are easily breakable. Although I've never actually tested, so maybe I'll do that. I'll find something that's got a trap in it, but it's not flashing yellow. Maybe I'll pick it up and see if I can break the treasure chest without having to deal with the trap. Because I've always just been paranoid and never ever broken treasure chest and just avoided traps. But alright, anyway, here we go. First hard mode dungeon. Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do it. This music. Okay.
To my side, my noble Einherjar.
Bam. Alright, so yeah, these are also Pongo Robustuses, so not even anything we really need to worry about. Just come in here, you Shadow Servant, dead. Get fucked, Donkey Kongs. guess I can go ahead and save just for paranoia's sake. I really do love the music in this level. You hear it a couple other times throughout the game in certain cutscenes, but this is the only dungeon where you hear it, and you don't ever get to really listen to this music for an extended period of time in normal or easy mode. I don't know, it's really epic, it's really dark, it's really sinister. I don't know, I really like it.
No matter who the opponent, I shall not yield.
It never fails to leave an impression on me. Oh, fucking shit. Look at this shit. We're just fucking
Their souls have been released.
smoking these guys. I actually don't remember who the bosses are for this dungeon. So it might be bosses. I honestly can't remember. Yeah, so we got quite a bit of shit to catch Arngrim up on. I'm gonna go ahead and just get all these out of the way. It's not gonna help him fight, but then again, he doesn't need help fighting because Jolanda's doing all the fighting. Don't worry, like once the Dragon's Bane becomes obsolete, you know, the game will get noticeably and significantly crazier. The other thing is that all these abilities that we're leveling up are providing pretty substantial boosts to my stats, but they cap out. All of these cap out at level 8. So once I get them all maxed, you hit kind of a plateau in your character progression. It kind of sucks, but at the same time, you get character progression in other ways, and the game stays interesting in other ways. You have more characters to choose from by that point in the game, and you catch all of them up and power them up. More weapons to choose from, more fleshed out combos and all that shit. So the game stays interesting. It's just this massive powering up that you do in the first few chapters as you're unlocking all these abilities and maxing out the boosts to your stats from the status skills. Definitely puts you ahead of the bell curve for like the first 3 chapters pretty much. That will come to an abrupt halt in chapter 4, make no mistake. I got cure condition off screen. You guys didn't see that, but basically it's just it's like a banish. It cures, it's just like first aid. You heal status abnormalities passively with this ability if there is one. Poison, freeze, paralyze, silence, curse, stone. Oh, so I forgot about silence and stone. I don't think I've ever seen silence. I'll let you know if I see it, but I don't think I've ever seen silence. Maybe I just don't remember what the thing is for it. Yeah, stone is interesting in this game now that I remember. Stone works like it should in most RPGs, where I don't think it wears off. I think you have to cure it actively. It does not wear off passively. But the other thing, the interesting thing about it is that it, what am I trying to say? Oh, so when you're petrified, when you're turned to stone, I think most attacks do almost no damage to you. So you're kind of useless, and I think you still get a game over if everybody gets stoned. It's a game over, man. That is a terrible joke. Yeah, so something to keep in mind. Am I still using Fire Lance as my default? Yeah, okay. Alright. Need to actually pay attention in here, because, like I said, gnarly puzzle and all that. Okay. Oh. That guy looks
To
nasty.
my side, my noble
Oh, it's just these guys
Ontario.
again.
Uh-oh, we may be in trouble.
I don't think we are.
Shadows, serpent!
I'll never get over how her voice and how it's straight up Misty. Right, okay, so yeah, there's this shit. You walk in, and this goop over here, and basically what it does is it coats you in this kind of like stench, and that stench is used to unlock certain passageways in the dungeon that are blocked up by vegetation, and certain vegetation will be repelled by the smell of different odors or something. You know, if this game were a little more well known, I'm sure some of the that was dumb.
To my side, my noble Einherjar.
Well, that didn't do much for you.
You have served me
We're having
well, my
bird stew
Einherjar.
tonight. Look at that fucking sword. Look at Arngrim's fucking sword. Look at the fucking handle. The handle of that sword is as big as most people's, like, swords. Like the blade of most other people's swords. So yeah, you have to do certain actions in order, and I think if you go through too many rooms, or like a certain amount of time passes, it's like, you know, you basically have to start the puzzle over.
To my side, my noble Einherjar.
No matter who the opponent, I shall not yield.
Honestly, the easiest way to do this, and the way I like to do it, is to, you know, not worry too much about the puzzle at first. Just worry about killing the enemies and, you know, deal with the puzzle later. But
You have served me well, my Einherjar.
I could and probably should focus on both at once, but somewhere there we go. Okay. I was like, there is supposed to be some vines that don't like the smell of the red stuff. Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway.
To my side, my noble Einherjar. Uh-oh, we may be in trouble.
Stop it. Also, we're not in trouble. We've been one-shotting everything for the past 2 episodes, including the boss. Like, my god.
Their souls have been released. We have no reason to remain here.
No reason at all. Fuck it.
To my side, my noble Einherjar.
No mercy.
Okay, so, I already know I'm not doing the puzzle right, because there's supposed to be... I do remember that very early on in the dungeon, you're supposed to get a key item that you use in this dungeon to basically maintain the withdrawal of the different vines and stuff. I haven't gotten that yet, and I should have it by now. What in the fuck? Corpse of a human female? Perfume. Use? Oh, you know what? I think this... Oh, no, never mind. Spell I can't quite describe? Okay. Yeah, they were doing botanical research here. I forgot to read the description of the dungeon on the way in. I'm sorry. I'll hold off on that for a second. You only get the smell in that room if you walk into the water. The yellow room, I think that's it. There's 3 different scents. There's the red room where you walk into the water. The yellow room, that just as soon as you as soon as you walk in, you have the smell, and then the blue aroma comes from that corpse.
To my side, my noble Einherjar.
No mercy.
Dead.
They were no match for us.
I'll say. I'm gonna eat my words in the next. In 5 episodes, I will be putting mustard on these words. That's my estimation anyway, in how many episodes. Each chapter is taken about.
Who the opponent? I shall not yield.
Well, they're gonna start taking longer, so I mean. I would say that the maximum any one chapter should be taking is about, factoring in recruiting all the characters and those cutscenes and everything, and then the dungeons. I'm fairly certain that
They were no match for us.
I don't think that any chapter should take longer than. Damn it! I meant to push up.
To my side, my noble
I don't think that
Einherjar.
any chapter at all should take longer than. God, it's hard to make that assertion. I think there are a handful of chapters that are just batshit insane, like a bunch of stuff happens. And also in hard mode, there's going to be some extra cutscenes we have to watch. So my estimation is that no chapter should take longer than 5 episodes to complete if I keep doing, about 40, 45 minute episodes. But, no guarantees. Some of them will continue to be, only 2 or 3 episodes. Like chapter 3 and chapter 4 on when you're playing on hard mode and trying to get the best ending. Both of them can kind of get kind of crazy. But then chapter 5 is like a breather. Actually, I think there's still a hard mode dungeon in chapter 5, so it might not be as much of a breather as it normally is, but I think in easy and normal, chapter 5 only has 1 dungeon, so, and it's not a very big one either. So. It's gonna vary. Okay. Damn, look at all these fucking enemies.
To my side, my noble Einherjar.
Just think of all the EXP. Yeah, no quarter, that's right. You tell him, Arngrim. Except you're not actually fighting. I know this is boring. I'm fully aware of the fact that this is boring.
I have never lost a battle.
It's going to continue to be like this. The combat is going to... I don't think... I know in normal mode, if you play in normal mode, which
To my side, my noble Einherjar.
is probably... I mean, honestly, normal mode has more in common with easy than it does with hard. Damn it. Oh my god. Jesus, that was scary. Okay, well, I have to fight this one normally then. Well, I tried. tickled. Yeah, the game really does not. It's not like those little Figment dudes. Yeah, I would say easy mode. Between the hard mode dungeons and the fact that all the characters start at level 1 in hard mode, I would say hard is more different from normal than normal is different from easy. That's how I would phrase that.
Did you think you could defeat me?
I'm not 100% sure how Chapter 3 will play out. I can't remember if there's a hard mode dungeon in Chapter 3. I think there is. I think there's one in every chapter, except for Chapter 1.
To my side, my noble
Or no, actually, I think there's a couple chapters that don't have one. And, damn it. There's a couple chapters I think that don't actually have one, and then the game makes up for it because I think in chapter in one of the later chapters has 2 hard mode dungeons. I think, yeah, okay, there's no other enemies in here. Can, however, go ahead and use the Eye of Heaven, or convert it rather, and get some sweet MPs. Delicious MP. I know you guys are probably hearing me say MP and you're like, what? Magic? Magic points? No. I know, it's weird. This game's terminology is kind of weird, and it's kind of... But I mean, at the same time, it kind of gives it its own character, you know? It feels different. Not really anything else to do in there. Although I have leveled up a good bit, so maybe I will... I mean, honestly, I don't really need to. I'll go ahead and give Jolanda some love just because I know that, you know, she's pulling most of the weight right now in terms of, you know, getting everything in a dead state, you know, for great justice and experience. Alright, so that should be a pretty gnarly increase to her damage, which was already, you know, batshit insane. And not really anything else to do. Okay, so this is annoying because I actually have to backtrack. That's okay, because we killed everything. And enemies don't respawn until you leave the dungeon. So, you don't have to worry about that. I feel like somewhere there's an exception to that rule. I think maybe in the final dungeon, or maybe in the post-game, like, secret dungeon, I think maybe enemies respawn, like, as soon as you leave the room. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the only time it ever happens. There might be some other special cases. I don't know. Da. Trying to figure out. I forget if I used that up or not. Yeah, but it's like a thing where you get the smells to unlock the you know, the odors or whatever, to unlock, you know, the vines, and then you use the strong acid to actually make them stay you know, retracted. But as soon as you get the strong acid again, yeah. So when you get the strong acid again and use it on a different spot, this wears off. So you have to like really kind of plan this out. Okay. Let's go get some more acid. Delicious acid. Acid! Acid! Yeah! Okay. So we got the yellow stuff, and then we're gonna go back, up. Okay. So we use the acid there, or no, we clear that vine, but we don't use the acid here. And here's where we want to use the next, whatever. Sorry, I love this game's music too much. Too much. I feel like I should have arms for mages now. I must have gotten like a different set of artifacts this time. Okay. Honestly, I just like being in this dungeon because this music kicks ass. I kind of now I want to. I don't know. I remember I started to say earlier that like I'm, you know, if this game were a little bit more popular, you know, I'm sure one of the like YouTube like metal musicians that, because there's a bunch of those. There's a bunch of like random like metal guitarists on YouTube that do some good, some better than others, some awesome covers of video game music, and very frequently RPG music, specifically, you know, just music that isn't metal at all, but they cover it and make metal out of it, and it's really cool, really neat stuff. They're usually like multi-instrumentalists, and you know, they program all the drums and, you know, the bass and whatever, and then they like record themselves playing guitar over it. Okay. Did I? Oh, okay. Let's use that acid. There's no more strong acid, and is there anything else I can do in here? No. Alright. The other thing about the hard mode dungeons we want to make sure that we find every time is the flame jewels. There's one in each hard mode dungeon, and that's how you get to the post-game secret dungeon. Right, okay, yeah, there's another exit from this room. I knew that. I knew that. I knew that.
To my side, my noble Einherjar.
I love how like the sprites, the out of battle sprites for these are different in this dungeon. I wonder why that is. I mean, it's kind of neat that they took the time to make a separate thing, but I don't know why the enemies aren't different. You'll notice that in a given chapter, so far, a lot of the enemies have been the same. Like, we're fighting the same enemies that we found in the swamps. That is not going to last. That will change. In later chapters, there might still be some enemies shared between dungeons, but each dungeon is going to have its own identity and its own set of nasty baddies, so... yeah. Okay. Have I been in this room yet? No, yeah, I've already been in that room, okay. Huh, interesting. So it did stay withdrawn. I don't know how permanent that is. Is my treasure search not working? Maybe I just haven't been paying attention, but it just feels like there hasn't been much treasure. I probably just haven't been paying attention. Okay. Right, here's treasure. Somewhere. Figured out. Oh, it is 48 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and kill these guys. Cut the episode. I come back. We're almost at the end of the dungeon. We're getting close. I think there's another few sets of rooms, and some of them have a lot of enemies in them, but we're mostly done with the puzzle. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. Go follow me on Twitch, etc., etc. Love you guys. Sorry I bumped the mic. Bye.